Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of Well There It Is, where we talk about our proximate knowledge of many geeky things. There are 5 of us today. I'm Caesar.
I'm Saul.
This is John.
Eli.
Roger.
The rare Pokemon Eli is joining.
The Eli has joined us.
Eli has joined
Oh,
us.
he has.
Oh, he has.
Someone had to do it. Notice it's not Eli, it's the Eli.
It's the Eli.
Eli. Apologies for not doing the E3 one. Shit happens. Moving on. Today we'll talk about Game of Thrones finale, some little bit of flare-overs.
Even though we swore by the gods above and below that we were not going to do another Game of Thrones ever again after the ending.
It's a big 360, right?
It is known.
No,
It
because
is known.
I told myself that. You guys were like, "I'm not watching," but I said I have to watch it because I was fully invested. Yeah. And Caesar, didn't really watch anymore. For his, wasn't really into it before. But you two, you guys were like, "Oh, we're not watching," and then you guys.
For once, now I officially understand what it's like to be in an abusive relationship. And you always wonder, why are you staying with that guy?
Now you know.
Now,
to be fair, up to episode 9, I was watching it for the loads. It was fun.
It's like I came back and I was like, this is why.
No, I think the whole season actually was.
It was a good season.
Really good season.
It was,
compared to the previous season.
Oh yeah.
Mierda.
Everyone's story moved along.
Yeah, except with Arya's. Arya's was still kind of like.
You mean Daredevil?
By the way, did she get did she get ready for blindness? Or
Yeah. They gave her magic.
They gave her her moments of.
They gave her eyesight back. She had to go through full Daredevil training first, then they gave her her eyesight back.
She did kill Walder Frey. She served her sons in the pie.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. Where did she get that?
She was still, aside from Daenerys, she was the most uninteresting story to follow this season.
I thought hers was more uninteresting than Daenerys.
Okay, we'll go right back to that. What else are we covering?
We jumped
good God.
Jumped the shark on that one. Talking comics with.
Oh, now it's okay.
No, I remember.
It's okay.
I remember.
By the way, you're using it wrong.
Anyways, Rebirth, Independence Day, and Comic Talk in general. Rebirth is part of it.
Comic Talk in general is what we're trying to say.
Comic time and chill.
What do you guys want to start with?
Game of Thrones since
all right, fuck it.
Usually with foreplay, but okay.
I know, we were like, I won't sing
go into it, man.
Oh man, no.
How is everyone since our last podcast?
Well,
good.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Not that
sorry. One thing I wanted to start is what have you guys been watching, reading, playing, whatever?
Well, I was telling Roger, and you as well, they just added Gravity Falls on Hulu, and I'm really excited about that.
I've heard the name rings a bell. I haven't watched it, but
one of those little cult following shows, kind of like with Steven Universe and stuff like that.
Firefly-ish?
No. Well, it's got a cult following, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But they're like cartoon shows that grown-ups watch.
I just finished watching House of Cards.
Oh, that's right.
It was really fucking good.
I still need to catch up.
For me, okay, since we're sort of gonna tie it into the Game of Thrones, somewhat, there were some low points when I was watching. I watched 2 seasons of House of Cards. There were parts where it was boring, but at one point in the episode, it was interesting enough to keep watching the next one.
Kept you like.
But comparing that to Game of Thrones, which I find boring, it didn't. I always felt like filler. Episode 9 and 10 were good. That's it. Every season for Game of Thrones for me. But
you're not wrong. I mean, that's the last.
You just gotta be. Yeah, you gotta be like. For Game of Thrones is different because you have to be involved. Like you have to be. If you're not involved, from the beginning, you're not gonna. It's one of those shows. If you don't like it from the beginning, you're gonna fucking not like it.
I think it's just.
I'm gonna go ahead and play devil's advocate here, and I'm just curious. I'm going down a nasty rabbit hole here. Since you've watched both, I know you haven't completed the other thing, but since they're both high fantasy and are more or less around that same kind of story time of thing, do you prefer Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
I'd say, because I watched the extended cut of the Lord of the Rings, and that parts of it did make it drag. So it's not a very fair comparison. If I would have watched the regular version, I'd say Lord of the Rings was a little more interesting. So. Yeah.
Well, I think to jump on that right away, it's not a fair comparison at all. I don't even know why you brought it up, because it's a TV series, a book series compared to. I mean, Lord of the Rings is a book series too, but that's like a movie format. It's completely different.
No, I just based it off of the fact that you got your high fantasy with your dragons and your knights and from that aspect, I just compare from those two from that aspect like that. I don't compare it from the fact that one is 3 movies and one is
Yeah.
That's a whole big series.
High
but just-
fantasy. I mean, honestly,
but just from storytelling.
between the two, I think Game of Thrones is a lot more interesting.
All right, we'll get to that, but we'll make our rounds.
No, I was just saying because he brought it up. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
jump on that.
No,
'cause-
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so House of Cards. I just finished. I just picked up today graphic novel. I started watching. Aside from the DC comics I'm reading, was it a Carnage comic? The introduction of Carnage into the Spider-Man comics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. I've always wanted to get into.
Did they have them?
What? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, I picked that up. So that's something I'm gonna be reading after I'm reading the other stuff I have, which is.
Rebirth.
No, the other comic I'm reading. Is
Oh,
Superman.
All-Star Superman.
So
Oh,
reading
you're
also-
finally gonna give All-Star a
Well, I'm
chance.
reading it right currently, but I'm jumping between Rebirth and All-Star Superman. Once I finish that, I'll give that back to him. And then
I forgot.
read it.
Oh, and I already mentioned to you guys reading Saga and East to West.
East of West.
East of West.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Eli?
I finished reading today. It's a comic by Vertigo. They did their own Batman story called A Dark Knight, a true Batman story.
Oh, I saw
And
that.
it was one of the writers of the Batman animated series. He got assaulted,
Whoa.
and to cope with it, this is his story of how Batman basically helped him cope with the story.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really deep. Like,
It's
I
really
wanna
deep.
get into it.
It gets dark a little at some point, but it's a really good story.
I need to borrow that.
Interesting.
After I finish the other 5 books, I need to borrow.
To be fair, it's gonna take you the remainder of the year to finish Crisis on Infinite Earths, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
But yeah, that's
Roger?
me.
Well, let's see. I did the horrible sin to myself and bought Pokemon Yellow for my game for my Game Boy.
Makes sense.
Consume my life again. It has.
Did
But
you
I
get the 3DS download, or is that the
No, yeah, the
original cartridge?
No, the 3DS
Okay,
download.
okay.
Original cartridge, I still have my blue version, but that's neither here nor there. Rereading Final Crisis. Like we were just talking, like we were shooting the shit the other day, me and Saul, like about like different writers like Jurgens and Morrison, and I remember that Morrison also wrote Final Crisis, and I just wanted to, for my own take, just compare it to All-Star Superman. See,
You know what's funny?
See his writing style.
Well, I'll write this down because I want to bring this up later when we talk about comics. Is like the style has really changed. Like if you read super old comics, like Crisis and all that, the style. Well, anything, but I'm just using it as an example where the style really changed. Like
Yeah.
I find it harder to read because the style. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
obviously if you read a modern comic, oh, this feels fresh. and
Yeah.
different.
Right.
This-
no.
Yeah.
But anyways,
That
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
where it takes place, you're just like
it does.
a little stagnant. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Ah."
That's why Crisis Infinite took a while to read. For me.
yeah,
Yeah.
same here. That's why I'm dragging on.
Yeah.
But with that too, there was a lot of pinpoints of characters I didn't know who or what.
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
That happened to me when I read it. I was like, who the
It kind of
hell?
just throws it in there. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
For me, video games I've been playing, I've finished for the first time ever Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which many have
Was it?
compared it to. I got to do a review on it for my other website that I'm writing for.
Hey,
Oh.
No conflict of interest here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna plug us.
I was
on
gonna
that
say,
website.
it's like,
Yeah.
what, do you want
Which
to plug
is-
them here?
Which is, yeah, I write for my first article for Retro Collect. They're a UK-based retro collecting game site. So obviously, retro games, collecting games, stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, because they pit those two between Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past is the best Zelda games ever.
That has always been.
Yeah, I don't want to go off on a rant, but yeah, I finished that one for the first time ever. It was pretty good. Did that comics wise. I did a giant like backlog of way back from like November, DC and Marvel, reading just all these back issues that I've been literally piling up when I finally got through them all.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been reading that. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
All right, so Game of Thrones, yeah.
Oh yeah, so Game of Thrones, definitely a stronger season than last season. A lot of people died.
Everyone died.
In one episode, like there was like
I saw like the main highlights. Yeah.
Within the first 12 minutes of the first episode.
yeah. The, where do
And
we start? That's the real
Cersei
thing.
drank. That's none of my business.
Yeah.
I like how she looked like a Sith when she was like sitting down on her throne.
Oh, I know. She straight up looked like a Sith. And a little Aries.
Oh, I didn't know the Lannister colors changed now. Now the royal colors of the Lannister house is black and silver.
I know, right?
Which is fine. This is cool. Yeah, it was really fucking intense. Like the first couple minutes, they're at the Sept on trail for Loras, and everybody went boom in the Sept. So
Well, you had to kill her. He's
That
going
was
to
in
be
the
Danny
beginning?
Ranford.
yeah,
That's
we
it.
killed in the beginning of the episode. We lost Loras Tyrell, Mace Tyrell.
Tyrells practically.
All the Tyrells pretty much are dead. Marjorie Tyrell. We lost all the Sept.
We left all the sparrows.
All the sparrows,
Oh.
everybody in the sept that was there. Lawrence
Pycelle.
Pycelle was murdered.
Oh yeah, Pycelle.
Finally, he died. They killed
the
him.
old man.
Pycelle was murdered at the hands of
The other
children.
Meister.
The children,
Oh, yeah.
the little birds.
the little birds.
And what was that thing about maybe possible fan theories being confirmed between the RL plus J?
Oh, that we're getting
Oh,
to that
yeah,
comes later.
yeah.
But right now we're just talking
Killed
about.
himself.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and then Tom and as a result of all that,
Tom and the King killed. He
The
jumps
diving,
out.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
saw
killed
that.
himself.
He attempted to do a superhero landing and failed miserably.
Dude, I was so upset that Marjorie went out like that though. That was one of my.
But she had it coming. For
I mean,
She
I'm
did.
not saying she didn't have to
did.
die. I'm just saying, like, come on, like she was smart enough to she was such a smart character
Mhm.
that
No, she could have been a big threat still, but like the real threat is
Well, she was.
Elena.
Like, she wouldn't get Cersei. Like Cersei came to the trial. She wouldn't get Cersei like basically killed and
Yeah.
pretty
get her
much.
brother
Yeah.
back. But
Yeah, that was the plan. But
One
see,
or the other
Cersei-
was gonna have
But
to
see, that's
die.
the thing. It's she was outsmarted by Cersei.
It's Cersei. To be
So
fair.
like to be fair, that's why I'm not surprised because it's like Cersei's fucking lethal, dude. As we know now, like
Yeah.
if you denied it before, you can't deny it now. Like she is fucking lethal as fuck. Like,
And what ended up happening with the? I think there was a war between that one fuckface that everyone hates.
Oh, yeah,
Ramsey
that's-
Bolt.
that's-
Ramsey, there you go.
that was
Battle of the Bastards.
Episode 9.
episode
Yeah,
9.
what happened there?
They had a big ass battle.
Who died? Who
Jon
won? Who
Snow-
lost?
Well, a lot of people fucking died.
a lot
Rickon
of
died.
people died. Oh yeah, Rickon died. With the
Stark,
Stark brothers.
Stupid
Stupid
brother.
shit couldn't
He
zigzag
threw him
while
out.
running.
He told him to run from one side of the field to the other. Ramsey, and so he's running to Jon Snow.
did not believe in
Jon Snow
zigzagging
was
while
like
running.
right into him, and like they just shot a fuck ton. Oh no, he shot arrows at him, right?
Or would have just shown up from the side with those books, zigzagging for dummies, and giving it to him before
So
he started
basically, what
running.
ends up happening is Jon Snow is obviously outnumbered, and losing almost all his men, and at the last second, Littlefinger shows up with the Knights of the Vale.
Lord Baelish.
Yeah, Lord Baelish, and then they fuck up Ramsay.
They pretty much just fucked them up.
Yeah.
And then Jon Snow. Then there's like
Someone became dog food.
Yes,
Ramsay
Ramsay.
gets
So at the
Jon
end,
Snow gets Ramsay alone in Winterfell. They
Beats the
get into
shit out of him. I
Winterfell.
love it.
They have like a little fight, like where he
My
blocks
Game of
him.
Thrones knowledge this season begins and ends with Facebook and Instagram. So that's
Well, literally,
all the
you can-
highlights.
you can keep. That's pretty much that's pretty much all you need, honestly.
so
Because Facebook's very notorious
Yeah.
for spoiling a lot of stuff,
I know.
or at least keeping you up to date what's going on.
basically, Sansa finally gets her revenge. They capture Ramsay. They have him strapped in, and then Ramsay talking about how he never fed his dogs. Well, they still haven't been fed.
Oh,
So-
Ramsay
dogs.
kept
Nice.
Sansa kept that in mind, and she put him in the cage with the dogs.
nice.
And so all the dogs ate Ramsay.
It was a beautiful thing. My mother cheered. Like she was clapping and laughing when she saw that scene. She was very happy with that.
Yeah, Ramsay's time was definitely time for Ramsay to go.
I did enjoy the scene where Jon Snow was beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Before that happened, Jon Snow like literally beat the shit. And fun fact was that they found out that actually the actors like Kit Harington actually punched him in the face
shit.
a few times, like
fuck.
by accident. Like it was so intense. And
Did you guys watch the Aussie Man's extended cut of the punching
no,
scene?
no,
Oh.
no.
It's like literally him editing it, so it's like he punches him, he gets up, he keeps punching. It's just like him, like constantly repeating it. I love
No,
it.
fuck you, no, fuck you, no.
Now fuck you, now fuck you, now fuck you.
Like it was awesome.
What was I gonna say? Any word on fucking what's his name finishing the books and catching up with the show?
Oh,
Still
no,
nothing.
yeah.
Well, he has 2 years.
Pretty
Before
much.
he dies or
Well,
cardiac arrest?
Well, they told us
George
yeah,
Robert Martin.
well, the problem here's my problem with this. Allegedly, like he's already told them how he's ending the books. So based upon that,
They're gonna make
that's how they've already decided.
Well, that
to
sucks
finish
if
the
you're like a hardcore book lover.
season.
Well,
yes and no, because the end result will be the same most likely. I say most likely because they could change it, but
Yeah.
most the
It'll
way
be a
getting there,
rough
the way getting there
ending.
is not going to be
Oh,
the same.
okay.
Like from what they're doing now, we can already tell that they're not going to be like doing the same thing in the book because they still like the whole. I don't know. There's just like a lot of things that they kind of and when you're watching the show and you've read the book that they rush through just to cut the loose ends, like
yeah.
just to kind of for show's sake. So, which is interesting, but we'll see. We'll see in about 2 years if the show ends and there's still no fucking book. I will fucking hang myself.
It wouldn't surprise me though.
No, I wouldn't. At
wouldn't.
this point, it's like
That lazy fuck.
lazy fuck. No, honestly, my theory is that he's waiting, and that's not even the last book. Like the next book that's coming out is not the last book.
Wow.
There's still one more after that. Then it's officially
he's busting
over.
a Harry Potter. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you know what? There's one.
No, yeah,
more."
it was gonna be one more, but it's split in half, and he's gonna do
Oh.
like the what is it called? I don't even remember the name of it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, he hasn't done them yet, We know he's working on Winds of Winter, but that's about it. He's releasing chapters. Actually, I think he released another chapter recently when the finale came out.
I did
So
like.
hey, here's some stuff I'm working on.
I did like that they called the final episode "Winds of Winter."
Well, yeah, that's a good nod, I guess. But
You guys excited for the next season?
yes, but I have my issues. But to continue with what happened on the finale, what did we miss? We covered.
No, that's
No, I mean,
Jon Snow.
no. What else?
I'll
happened?
say it in the
I
Jimmy.
wanna say that
I'll
for
say it
the
in the Jimmy Lannister
Oh.
voice. The King of the North.
oh well.
You're gonna jump to that. I wasn't thinking that for last, but yeah, pretty much before we jump to that, Jamie Lannister and the Freys they got the River Run back. Whatever. Jamie Lannister put the Freys in his place.
That was great.
And then Walder Frey was murdered by Arya Stark.
In
before
disguise.
in disguise. She had a face on.
After she fed his kids to him as part of a meal.
Fucking chopped up his fucking sons and baked them in a pie and fed it to him. And like he lifts the pie thing, and you see like a finger sticking out. Yeah, and then she like grabs him and cuts his throat and like just and then watches him bleed. It was pretty brutal. You're like, fuck. You're kind of happy for her, and at the same time like, she's totally gonna be a serial killer now. Like,
This is how you get serial killers.
yeah. You want to know how you get serial killers? That's how you get serial killers.
The fastest swimmers in Westeros, Arya and Varys.
Oh, seriously?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Daenerys.
Don't forget
first.
the diving champion, the king.
Oh, the
Oh yeah,
king.
no,
not
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 on that one.
Well, let's talk about the Varys thing first.
Varys, yeah.
The reason why we're saying that like he's fast is because he's over there with Daenerys, the side of the world, right? Then he travels towards the end back to Westeros to broker a deal between the Sand Snakes and Lady Olenna,
Lady
which
Olenna.
is the last of the
Tyrell.
The Tyrell.
Tyrells.
This is after
Remember the old
Cersei.
grandmother from
So
Tyrell?
he went back, right? And at the very end, the last shot with Daenerys crossing the sea on her boat,
He's on the boats with
back
them.
on that side. So I'm just like, okay.
The man can travel.
The man can travel.
Wait, that's another question I have. What ended up happening with what's her name, Daenerys?
With
Oh,
Daenerys.
so she came back from her city with all the
Khalasar.
Khalasar, and she brought all them with her. She saved her city because the slavers were attacking the city while she was gone. So she saved the city. She killed the masters, left one alive. Also, cool thing I really liked about it is they brought the Greyjoys. They came to her side. They came to her. So it was Theon and his sister Yara. They decided to want to fight for her or try to see if she'll help. Benefit each
get
other.
the Iron Islands
So
back.
she made a deal. She was like, yeah, you give me ships and you give me your men and I'll you'll be the, I guess, queen, I guess, or I'm
The
not
Queen
sure.
of the Iron Islands.
Queen of the Islands, but still respecting her rule of
The crown.
The crown. So they pretty much made a deal, Theon and Yara to Daenerys. So they pretty much fighting. They gave all the ships to Daenerys, what she needed. It was really cool seeing Tyrion and Theon interact because.
Oh yeah.
We actually interacted way back in season 1.
Yeah.
That was like the last time we saw. So we get all this time in between, and you're like, holy shit! They're like shit talking to each other. You're like,
You know who I still miss though? Sir Barris and Salmy.
don't, please, please, let's not fucking go there, please.
Like I don't know why they
Still
have
alive in the books, by the way, which is total bullshit.
Well, so Stannis, but that's besides the point.
Don't get me started. Why you gonna start? Why you gotta bring a bullshit? Why you gotta bring?
Well, you brought up a lot. You brought up.
I
a lot
brought
of
up
characters.
something which he brought up.
I just said like I just miss Sir Barris.
The only thing that really keeps me attracted to her chapters in the book is Barris and Selmy because he's such a badass. But anyway, that's not here or there.
Neither here nor there.
Anyway, she gets all that. Who else? What else she encounter?
It's.
Oh, she gets the Martell ships and army, and also the Tyrells because of what just happened in King's Landing. Cersei killing the Tyrells. So now Tyrells and the Martells are fighting for Daenerys.
Plus the Khalasars, plus the Unsullied, plus the Sons of the Harpy. No, not the Sons. The Seven Sons.
Right?
Or
No, the Sons of
No, it's
Har-
not the Harpy. Yeah,
The second Sons.
the second sons.
So she's pretty much now she's
And the
finally
Ironborn.
wasting
Oh, yeah, and
Ironborn.
the Iron. For
She has
God's
in the
sake.
last cutscene we see in the episode is all these fuck ton of ships with everybody's different houses that are fighting for her now, all sailing to Westeros now. So officially she's now on her way to Westeros
With her 3 dragons above.
with her 3 dragons and a fuck ton of people. Like,
But I'm gonna call it right now, like I told Chan the other day. Knowing D&D, I guarantee you the whole next season, literally the whole next season, will be just things that happen to her on the ship before she lands at Westeros.
Probably.
maybe I don't think so. Honestly, at this point.
Well, what I was gonna say is
It's
the,
D&D.
the theme
Nothing else.
continues where they're shoving her so far down her throat, she's coming out of her ass now.
But here's my thing.
You're not wrong.
Jumping next into the next part, which is the whole thing that happened with Jon Snow in the season finale. So he, what happens is all that battle happens. They get Winterfell back, and then they have the meeting with all the lords from the north, right? So they got all of them talking to them, and they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do next. So whole this thing happens. One of the was it Lady Mormont?
Yeah.
Lady Lyanna
Lyanna Mormont. She pretty much
of Bear
brings this
Island.
whole thing about Jon Snow, how he, they all followed her and this and that, followed him, I should say. And so they pretty much what they do is we get a like a flashback of what happened with Robb Stark. So she declares him, King of the North, and then the other lords are like, okay, well, fuck yeah.
Literally the whole
Fought
scene
for
reenacted
him.
inside
So they
that
pretty
world.
much all the lords declared for him again. Littlefinger kind of got fucked over because he was.
Oh yeah.
He tried to play Sansa like, oh well.
They're not gonna back him. Basically, he was like, they're not gonna back Jon. He's a bastard.
Yeah, he's saying, no, they're not going to back Jon. Like, you're gonna. He pretty much tried to have her to be the wardeness of the North, and then he would like marry her, and then he would get that power. But it didn't work out that way.
And-
but he's already declared for House Stark, pretty much. So he can't go back. Pretty much, he can't go back on that because the Crown knows he's an enemy now, and everyone else is gonna be like, oh, you're with the Starks.
Yeah.
But pretty much, Jon Snow became, like.
That didn't stop him from trying to steal a kiss. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Still
Yeah.
busting pedo shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was really interesting. Get to see that King of the North scene. I don't know. It was really cool, but it was a little weird.
For me,
Just
it actually made me kind of sort of choke up a bit. Never been a Stark fan, but the fact that they did that to Jon Snow, I actually really, really like that.
He's earned it.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
earned it more than Robb did.
No, I disagree. I really disagree. There was nobody else to fight for House Stark back then. Jon Snow was already in the Night's Watch. He, gave up all that. See, that's my biggest problem right now. It's like, I get it, like that in the predicaments are in, like Jon Snow is. You're right, he's earned it, but it's just like, it's hard for me to, especially with the whole, like, everything else being confirmed. It's like hard, like I don't mind. I like Jon Snow. It's not that I hate him at all. It's just like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what's gonna happen? Because it doesn't make sense to me right now. Like, going into the next part where they pretty much confirmed now in the show that his mother was Lyanna Stark and his father was Rhaegar Targaryen. So that makes him, yeah. But see, here's the problem now. Here's my biggest fucking problem. It's like, okay, I can understand him being King of the North. I get that. They declared him King of the North. Their own people did. I get that. That's fucking cool. I can accept that. But everyone else saying like, well, now he's king of the Seven Kingdoms, like the Seven Kingdoms, like, doesn't make sense. Number one, that if that's since he's confirmed as Rhaegar's son, which was Daenerys' brother, that makes him
Daenerys'
the nephew.
nephew.
So that still puts Daenerys before him, regardless of sex, And another thing, major thing everyone seems to fucking forget, and I'm talking about you guys, but I'm talking about like other hardcore show watchers. They're like, oh, well, like, he's a king, he's got queens. No, but still, he doesn't have any claim to the throne. Like, the king of the North, that's something that the people declare, that's fine. I get that. He can be that. But King of Westeros doesn't make any fucking sense to me. He'd have to be legitimized. Yeah. So who will legitimize him? Cersei's not going to legitimize him. Daenerys, why would Daenerys legitimize
He's
him?
going to marry Daenerys.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that really going to happen?
Gross.
Yeah, that's weird as fuck, number one, because nobody does that anymore.
In a show that already has brother and sister incest.
No, that's different, though. It's still looked down upon in Westeros at this point in time. So for her to do that, doesn't make any fucking sense. And you heard her say in the episode, she's like, oh, I have to be available. Oh, she dumped that one guy, by the way. Her fuck buddy.
Oh, yeah.
She dumped him. She's like, yeah, I gotta be available. She pretty much, I gotta be available for suitors out there to gain alliances. So
yeah, who
that
better
makes
than
sense.
to marry Jon Snow to also have control of the North?
I guess, but it's like, that's her nephew, and if they somehow expose that to her, that's gonna be even more weird. That's my problem right now. Is I can't understand how they're gonna do that, and I feel like in the books it'd probably be done a lot neater, where I would understand it. But in the show right now, in my opinion, it's like, I don't know how you guys are gonna do this.
Well, technically, who knows? Besides Bran and
The father,
Reed.
the one that survived, Howland Reed. He knows. He was there at the Tower of Joy with Ned. So that's the only other way they could find out. But it's like, how are you going to do this? Like, that's my biggest problem. I don't have a problem with Jon Snow at all. I love Jon Snow. Daenerys, I have my problems with Daenerys, obviously, if you guys already know. But it's like, my problem is like, how are they going to conclude this? Like, how are they going to tie this together? Like,
She'll die.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Alright, anything else before we move on?
No, we pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Azor Ahai confirmed?
Oh, yeah, he's for sure Azor Ahai, by the way. I'm buying into that 100%. Which I think he'll probably die as Azor Ahai, in my opinion.
Don't say that.
Or he'll stab the sword in the nearest, bring it to fire, and he'll
Doesn't
be
make
the one
sense.
to bring it.
Doesn't make sense. He doesn't love Daenerys.
He has never met Daenerys, to
If
be
he
fair, though, in the
stabbed
process.
Arya, that would make sense because he loves Arya.
To be fair, he hasn't met Daenerys, so we don't
He's
know
not
how.
gonna fucking love Daenerys. And if they do, I will fucking stop watching the show and not read the books. quote
That's
me
what
on
you
that.
said.
I quoted you that on last year when you said you were done watching as well. But
Well,
here we are.
no, I resubmitted and said I was watching it. So.
All right, we'll go from the small screen to the big screen. Independence Day. Some of us
Oh
saw
yeah.
it.
What'd you guys think of Independence Day?
It's a great fucking movie. You guys should watch it. It's really good.
It was a beautiful piece of shit. Cliche piece of shit.
I don't think it was a piece of shit. I disagree, Roger. I think it wasn't a good fucking movie, but it was like a
It was
5 out of 10.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
5 out of 10 because it entertained me. I had fun and I laughed. I'd probably give it a 6, probably.
Yeah.
It's just because I was entertained the whole time.
So like, do they do the thing where they destroy the mothership again, or like?
Okay, here's a great example. Johnny actually brought this up when we were watching it. They literally did what Force Awakens did with Star Wars.
You mean what every
They copied
Carbon
what
copy
worked.
Every,
So literally, if you saw Independence Day how that worked, that's literally what happened again. They knew what worked, and that or worked, I say in quotations, and they did it again. You know, just very campy.
You remember that?
What was I gonna say?
reminded you of what?
And they added Halo.
They had it.
Yeah.
It was like if you watch
Yeah,
it,
they-
you hear a lot of elements of like, I was like, this is Halo. It's like I'm watching Halo movie going on here, and it's like,
Yeah, the spacecraft, the whole like.
the guns.
The what's his name when the ball dropped? I could have
Oh,
sworn
yeah.
the guy was gonna come out from the
Yeah.
inside.
I want to bring up a good point here, by the way, since I've actually been wanting to talk about this. If this realistically happened, you know, I know this is a movie and everything, but if realistically we got wiped out by the numbers that they quoted from the first movie, and even if there was a 20-year span, it's a 20-year difference, right? 10-year difference. 20-year difference. That still would not mean our technology would be advanced to the point where they show in the movie, where they're like matched to what they are.
Yeah.
I think if
It still
anything, it'd be the
wasn't
opposite. Yeah, no, I think it's still. I would think it would be the opposite. I think there would be a degradation of society where nothing would be united. Because in Independence Day, the new one, everyone's united against the aliens. But that's like doesn't make any sense. Because like, imagine the economy going to shit.
Yeah.
All the world powers going to shit. All the major civilizations going to shit. Like
There wouldn't be no need for
Well,
weapons.
I mean, you have to think about it. It's a big sci-fi trope where like, oh, the humanity united against.
yeah, but that's the problem. Like it's too troped out. Like it's too like. That was one of the problems I had.
Well,
with it.
let's try to slowly move up the scale. So, would you rent it?
Would I watch it again?
I'd watch it again, sure. Just
In a
because I know I
nice
would
bust
laugh.
state of mind, why not?
Would you?
Like I'd watch it with you guys since you haven't seen it. I'd watch it again.
Would
That's
you watch
probably
it
better.
in the theater again?
No.
Would you matinee it in the theater?
No.
For the first time?
It
If you
was worth
recommend
the
someone
first
else.
time.
Oh, okay.
Like yeah, I had fun the first time, but I
Oh.
wouldn't do it again for full price. I wouldn't matinee it because that's still $3 more, or probably more than I have to pay for Redbox. So yeah, would I pay $1 to watch it again? Yeah, Redbox. Would I pay $6 to watch a matinee?
No.
I see. All right. Well, that's our verdict.
Oh no, Will Smith either. So
Oh, that was
It was a
biggest-
beautiful.
Oh,
it was a beautiful
How did they kill
throwaway.
him off?
It was a beautiful throwaway. Like he
he-
died in a training exercise on one of the new
Yeah.
F-22 Raptors.
Tell
That
him he
looked
looked
exactly the
in the
same.
movie, they mention it lightly, but in order for you to get the full story, you had to go on the Independence Day website. Like they made up a website showing you the 20-year history between the first one and this new one, like what happens, and they have a full video explaining that they were going to test out the plane for the first time with their technology and our technology mixed in it. And Will Smith's like, "Oh, I volunteered to do this," and he crashed and died.
Wow.
What a.
oh, you want to do Suicide Squad?
What a
Fuck
way
you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, to be fair, you probably didn't.
But
want to
they have
punish
they had a nice mural painted of him in the White
Oh
House.
yeah, it was a
wall.
nice mural right behind his son. He was like,
Yeah, he had that look right from the first movie.
What a way to die.
I know that's.
oh, but Senpai was really nice watching.
Oh well, it was always nice to
Same
watch
picture
Sam.
of Jeff Goldblum every day.
He was just
You know
having.
we all follow that,
he
right?
was, yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
we do.
He was just having fun, just making that whole movie, just from beginning to end.
It was like,
who was the guy who played his dad in that movie?
Oh God, I forget his name.
Yeah, the dad was in the movie too.
Oh wait, they also had the doctor that was opening up the aliens in the first
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
How did he survive?
they
he's
explained
in
that he
coma.
was literally in a coma for 20 years.
Oh, he he
Yep.
had a weird relationship with another doctor. Apparently, that was in the first one, and he had like this. It was like a gay like a bro gay romance. It
Yeah.
was really weird.
It was
And
weird.
A grown man.
Yeah, it was like
Bro
it was funny, but then the other doctor died, and you're supposed to feel sad, but it was kind of funny how he died. So I was a little thrown off by that.
Yeah, they kind of like their sloppy writing was showing for sure. And a lot of stuff you're like,
And there's gonna be a third one.
There's gonna be.
oh yeah, yeah. They ended it showing you oh, we're gonna get ready for that's like what?
It's Star Wars Independence Day.
Yeah.
See, that's
Halo Independence.
Halo
Please.
Independence Day.
Yeah, they're gonna make a six like a what is it called? The fucking when there's
They're gonna
six
milk the milk for all
Yeah,
it's
they're
worth.
gonna milk the milk.
the
You know, I
milk.
swore in my infancy that I swore I'd never be that guy that said, you know, back in my day, and swear things were better back in my day. But fuck,
Then
man.
don't be. Come on.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that
Caesar,
guy.
don't be like that. Don't
It
say
started.
that. Like you can criticize
I
it.
already started.
Yeah, but don't say that.
It's already over.
But like back in the
It
days,
started.
Old man Caesar.
they rewarded not rewarded, but they took a chance on taking risks. It's like, oh, hey, we're gonna take a chance on these films, and now it's like, no, it has to be super safe.
Yeah.
And let's, you know,
No, you're right. You're right. It's a good point you bring up because how they carbon copied it from
Yeah,
the
there's
original.
less
There's no
originality.
like I was talking about it with the guys after the movie. Like they didn't. You're right. Exactly what you said. That nobody wants to take that risk anymore.
Well, here's
Not
the-
even Star Wars wanted to
Because
do that.
here's because this is why, because movies are for the most part, movies are no longer art; they're an investment.
Yeah.
well,
You're right.
yes, in the business standpoint, but when wasn't it a business? It was a business back then too.
Yeah, but it was more like.
But it
an
was
art
still more
form.
about
Yeah,
art
but then
form.
back then they weren't. Movies were barely becoming big. Like we had modern effects, stuff like that. Yeah, people got to play around with that, and like let's,
Well, not even so much that it's like just plot and story wise, you know.
But again, you can take a risk, or you can go with what do investors want to make? Money or something new?
Yeah, but again, back in the day, they took a chance, and
They took a
lot of
chance.
times
That's
it
the
paid
problem.
off.
That's
But
the
that's the
problem though. They
problem,
don't want to do that anymore. Like, remember when we watched The Death of Superman Lives? That same thing. Like we saw that happen with that movie when they were trying to make Death of Superman Lives. They were like, okay, let's make this movie, but like, oh, was it gonna work? Like, we don't know. We gotta invest it and.
Well, make it good.
No, but
Oh,
like
well,
here's the
don't
thing.
forget, I mean, how
they
do
made
you
a bunch
decide what's good?
of fucking movies, right? And they all tanked
Yeah.
in a row. Right before we were gonna be on the last step of making this movie,
Mm-hmm.
they had everything ready. They had Nicolas Cage. They had everything ready, the costume, everything. But because Warner Brothers had so many movies take a shit,
That had tanked.
they were like, we
Remember
can't.
Wild
we
Wild
can't.
West?
They literally said we cannot take the risk on this movie.
Yeah.
It was original because it was original. It probably would have been a really good movie. We don't even know. We'll never know. But they didn't want to take a risk. They shut it down
Because
and
it
they
was
made,
original.
Yeah.
And they made Wild Wild West,
Which also tanked.
Well,
which also tanked.
which also took a shit.
But which was original.
It was original, but see,
Yeah.
the case in point, like,
That's why they
around
don't
that
take
time
that.
is when things started dying. Originality was like
Yeah.
almost for like if you wanted to, and if you're independent,
Like we need,
Sure.
in my opinion, like I fucking revere Christopher Nolan. Like all his shit is amazing.
Oh,
Stuff like that. We
yeah.
need more guys like him.
you're
That's
not wrong.
That's
Oh my
what
God,
I'm-
you're not wrong.
But even he had to put his name on, Man of Steel. Just the
For
studio
it-
would like give him
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
to like do
yeah.
what he wanted.
Yeah, he had to work his way up because
Yeah.
remember he did
Memento,
Memento.
yeah.
Before that, he did another
Or,
movie.
oh yeah.
He had to work his way up, and then he
Yeah.
did Prestige, which I love. Nobody really knows that fucking movie. They're like, "What Prestige? It's a great fucking movie."
Yeah.
I love
Inception, another
Prestige,
great
yeah.
fucking movie. It's like, yeah, he
But
didn't
I
get his
think-
notoriety until like.
But yeah, he had to do because even before Inception, he had to do Batman before the studio was like,
Yeah.
okay, you can do your shit.
He did one. I remember he did
Yeah.
one Batman, and then he's like, "Okay, I made my deal with Warner Bros. That I can do that, and now I can do Inception." Which was he was working on Inception for like 10 years.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that so long, but he
He
had to do
couldn't.
the
He
Batman
had to
movie
do-
first. So like that tells you, even people that are creative and that are original, they still have to play by the studio's
Yeah.
rules.
So imagine if you're this super creative guy who's got this awesome idea, right? Now you have to you have to prove yourself to the studio by making a cliche superhero movie, aka Fantastic Four, and and then the studio's like,
Oh, good news on that, by the way, too.
and then you're like,
Oh, yes.
well,
Oh,
hang on.
yes.
So
Right
think
then.
about it like this, okay? So you had this awesome idea, but you had to prove to yourself with this project the studio has going on. The studio's putting too much control over it. Turns out to be shitty in the end. What's the studio going to do after that?
Yeah.
They're not going to hire you after that. It's not your fault. You wanted to do something else completely different. But so that's the problem. It's just, and I don't know how. I don't think there's an easy solution. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the studios.
it's a business, man. It's
Yeah.
just a business.
Unless like we start looking at independent films, maybe.
No, not even
Not
that.
even
But
that.
like that's why you have more like creativity with Netflix.
Yes, you're right. That would probably be
That's
the
true.
next avenue, honestly.
Yeah.
Hulu, Netflix, anything streaming services.
even HBO, like some like small screens, really where it's at.
Honestly, I think
That's
that's
true. Yeah, you know
that's the
what?
future. Like a lot of House of Cards. That's like
Yeah.
it was based off of something, but
House
you know,
of Cards
took
is
off from there.
incredible writing, but like I said, it's
You
all.
know, with that stuff too, though, is that they get a longer period. That's
They
why
do.
they work. They're like, okay, for episode 1 to 13, we have to plan this whole thing out,
Yeah.
and then put it all at once. So basically, they have to plan out that.
But it's
that
like
time they
basically
could
like a
get.
long ass movie.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we're really looking at it in the grand scope of things, that's where it's at now.
Yeah.
Where because yeah, less risk, and also because there's more freedom to do it.
Yeah.
And because if you notice, the live there's like there wasn't good TV when we were growing up.
No.
Not at all.
Now,
Not
like
at
that's
all.
all what it's about.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
It's all about like what are we gonna watch on Netflix?
Breaking Bad, Game
Yeah.
of Thrones.
But that's
fucking
so
all
like I
this
mean, I guess that answers your question of where creativity can go. It's
Yeah, TV shows and I foresee that being the future.
I mean, we're all waiting for that next like binge worthy show.
Yeah.
You know, like we crave
That's
it.
true.
Well, just look at what Marvel has lined up for. Marvel has lined up for like after
Netflix,
Daredevil,
yeah.
like they on Netflix. A lot of places are looking towards that now, like because it makes more sense. Like,
Yeah.
Young Justice season 3.
Good look.
Yeah,
Good
good
one.
old comic books. But yeah, so moving on. Moving on up to comics Rebirth. How far are we along? Comic 2, 3, something like that.
2, I think, in every series.
Yeah,
Two in
yeah.
every
Everybody's on
series.
that too now.
Everyone's on 2 in every series now.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier before the podcast about how, well, also earlier on the podcast about how writing styles have really changed over the years.
Oh yeah, right.
Crisis and all that.
It's kind of stagnant if you read older
Yeah, like I read
comics.
the original Spider-Man, and fuck, it's so hard to read it.
Yeah.
You know, getting through it, and it's like, fuck, man.
No,
So
you're-
like what else are you talking like a certain like clichéness?
No, just I guarantee I haven't done the math, but I guarantee you there are more total words for that comic than in today's. Like if you count the number of words
Oh.
there are,
You're right.
there's
You're
a
right.
lot
I
more
was,
talking.
I was
a lot
reading
more.
the graphic, just peeking into the
Yeah.
graphic novel I bought today, the Carnage one,
Uh-huh.
because it takes place in the older Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
comics. So like, the comic style's way like I remember them mention Peter Parker mentions Donald Trump. It's funny. Like, oh, who Aunt May? Who are you talking to? Donald Trump. Oh, tell the Trump that you know this. I was like, God damn. But like I noticed as well, like the dialogue in it, every like page is a lot fuller,
Yeah.
and the time it takes place in, like I understand what you're saying. Like definitely, what it says is kind of stagnant because you're kind of like, you
Yeah.
kind of like struggle through the read.
Yeah, because it's like
It's
you
like-
try to like nowadays you try to make everything realistic, and so like, you know, let's say there's a panel of like, let's say Daredevil flipping over a building, and he has like a 2 or 3 word, you know, little things like, okay, I gotta aim at the window at this precise moment, and like that's what he's thinking. But way back in the day, there's like one panel of like a whole inner monologue.
Yes.
Of like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and like in that one, it's like makes it kind of drag.
Yeah, and it's very dense.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big difference though. Big difference from
Yeah.
what we have now. I think it's kind of better now, just because like they kind of more concise with their writing and like they're like, here you go.
I think
here's
it would
what
also
is.
depend on the writer too,
It's true. We have different
Yeah.
writers
with the
back
day
then
and
now.
age. Exactly.
But I think that plays into modern times. Like modern writers know how to write for modern readers.
Yeah.
Like, for people that are reading comics now, which is us.
Yeah.
We grew up. We read some like older comics, but like I think it's good. It's refreshing that we're getting these comics. That are,
I think
like,
my cutoff is like mid 90s and on is readable. Well, to me.
Yeah.
And then anything before it's a little.
When it was aimed
Timed.
at boring white people.
yeah.
early 90s, I think I would be my cutoff.
No,
Mid to
yeah,
early-
like
mid
for
to
me,
early
yeah.
90s.
Honestly, I can't. Like, it's hard. Like this, I was kind of peeking into the Carnage book I bought, and I was like, oh, this is a little dense, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna push through it. I also bought myself a copy of Watchmen, and I was flipping through that too. I was like, God damn, like it's also the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's fun, but like, yeah, it makes you like a good point because I just started, I was catching up with the DC and all that, the Rebirth. It's like more bam, bam. Here you go.
Yeah,
Here's what's
yeah.
going on. Here's what I'm thinking. There's a lot less
Yeah.
inner dialogue, and
Yeah.
I like it. I like it because it's faster paced.
And I noticed too, like especially in the Batman comic, well, mostly DC. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I noticed that like just before you flip the page, like and it's I think of a movie. So like let's say they're on scene 1, right, and then scene 1 is practically ending,
Yeah,
but then you hear someone's voice and then you transfer to scene 2.
yeah,
I don't know if you got. And then
yeah.
in the
Like
comic,
it kind of
like
segs you.
so
like,
at the end of this page of this scene. At the very end is like the first 5 words of
The next scene.
and then
Yeah,
boom, it
I've
switches.
seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I've
Yeah,
noticed
I've
that.
noticed that.
Yeah,
too.
and it reminds me of a movie. It's like, oh, they're doing like a movie style.
As far as I
It
can
keeps the
remember when
brain
it goes,
rolling.
Yeah.
as far as I can remember when it goes to DC, since I've been reading it, they've had that I can remember for the most
Yeah,
part.
they do a lot.
Like at least from the mid 90s after, like all of Nightfall, Death of Superman, they've always had that.
It might be just like their
That's just what
trademark,
they
the
do.
way they write things and how they
Quick
keep
little
you involved.
FYI, back in the fucking 60s, Marvel and DC copyrighted the word superhero.
Oh, really?
So no other company ever can use the word superhero. That's why they use. What do they use? They use either superhumans or what's
Metahumans,
Metahumans
mutants.
is the one they use. Yeah,
Actually, use mutants.
yeah. But no one else can ever use superhero.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's that. And props to like going on like DC style. When it comes to comics specifically, I think DC trumps Marvel, even though I still personally prefer Marvel.
Let the record show that
At
at 2:08 Saturday, July
That's
2nd,
208.
Caesar has give his nod of approval to DC writing
Yeah.
as far as comic books go.
It's because it's they're more consistent. They're very, how do I say it? Marvel's all over the place. Like they're all over the map. It's very hard to follow. In today's, even like you go back even like maybe 5-10 years, it's still the same. Like they have so many. This will piss me off. One thing is they have so many events. Oh, every single fucking year. It's like if Christmas was every day, does that make Christmas that special? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if
Takes
they have an
away the
event, a
speciality.
big ass event, every single, it takes away
Can you
from how
elaborate, like
good.
an example?
Well, like okay, Infinity, that was an event. Original Sin, that was an event. This is from like a few, not even that many years ago. Civil War right now is the big one, or big using quotation marks. What's another one? Civil War from back in the day, the World
Secret
War Hulk,
Wars.
Secret Wars, Secret Invasion,
Yeah.
and just on more
Like,
events
there's
after
a
events
lot of
after
events, you're
event.
just like,
If
bro.
they did it every 2 or 3 years, then okay, they're big and worthy. But every single it takes away from how big it is if you're
Yeah.
doing it this often.
Well, yeah, because like DC, right? They kind of spread theirs out.
Like Rebirth or not
Like,
Conversions.
mhm.
That was
Right, it was Convergence.
Yeah.
It was, and then it was New
Prior to
52, right?
prior to Convergence, we didn't have an event since
52.
Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah, it was Flashpoint.
And
Yeah,
then it was
like
Convergence,
that.
and then it was
Yeah,
New 52.
and now
that
we
was
have
a big
Rebirth,
gap.
and that was like a 4 or 5
Or-
year. Guys,
yeah.
actually, yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah,
that's when
see.
when I started picking up comics, I picked up DC because I was like, oh, New 52. You pick up right away.
Yeah.
Beginning point.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
tried to read some Marvel stuff, and I was like, I don't know where to
Yeah,
begin with
where,
anything.
yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna
and
try.
they keep it fresh. Like they just like every few years, like hey, there's new readers because of our shows, movies,
Mhm.
whatever. Let's bring them in with a fresh start. You know.
That's why they always said number one the track more like, oh, I can start from here. Number one the track.
Exactly.
Right, like me, for instance, like I'm a good example of that. I wanted to jump in with New 52, but I didn't because I couldn't. Like I fucked up with myself. But now that Rebirth, soon as I heard Rebirth was happening, I was like, bro, I'm gonna jump on it. Let's be number one. Like I don't, I can read the last few issues going into that, and I'm set. And like
I
right
did
now,
the
I'm
same
satisfied.
thing. Yeah, like before this, I never got into comics. You know, I was around when New 52 happened, but I decided not to jump in because I was still like, comic books. And now, with all the stuff I was in, with that Rebirth happening, I was like, all right, you know what? Let's do this. And it was a good point for me to start. Marvel again, yeah, it's just
It's hard to pick, and I think that it has a lot to do with Disney taking over and how they're trying to reach more demographics. Making more not politically correct stuff, but like a black Captain America, different mantles, different people, a female Thor, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
and I think that has a lot to do with it. Like from a business decision, it seems like, hey, let's try to reach out to more female
Right,
fans, or let's
right.
try to do this and that. And it to me, it doesn't seem like it's working out. I don't know the actual numbers behind it, but it doesn't seem like it's working
Man,
out.
I
man,
think it
still
could
don't
work
approve
out.
I still don't approve of Cyborg being part of the Justice League.
yeah. See, no, I believe it can work out. Again, they just have to make it more accessible. They need a restart, just like DC did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
they're
they
not
did
that
do restart,
far
you're
into
right.
yeah, not that long ago. They're like in
After,
late
was it after
September.
Infinity Wars or
Is that
Secret
in Secret
War?
Wars?
Yeah, after Secret Wars, they
Oh,
pretty
that's
much
right.
they pretty much
Secret
started over. But yeah, everyone's pretty much started from a clean slate. So it just depends on if you're following it or not.
But things like again, Marvel changed like the main character is not like.
Yeah, so let's say
like
you were
Hulk
in,
is not,
yeah,
Bruce
he's
Banner
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
and then with Iron Man is a woman.
She was for a
It
little
was
bit.
a
For a
woman.
little
in the
bit.
second one.
Yeah.
And then Captain America is someone different. And
Well, to be fair, to Convergence, Batman was Jim Gordon for a little bit, but that's
Jim
But
Gordon.
they still
That's
had Bruce
forgivable.
Wayne,
Oh yeah, it
though.
still had Bruce Wayne trying to
Yeah.
yeah. I
That's
know
for
what
like
you
what
mean.
5
Oh,
issues?
that's like Jim Gordon though. So if anybody, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually
Well-
like Jim Gordon's Batman suit. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't mind.
For example,
Like it wasn't Batman. It was like
Yeah.
What surprised
I
me is
get
that
it.
Jim Gordon was, a little on the pudgy side, and then all of a
all
sudden
of a
he's like this
sudden,
thin.
yeah.
Like,
I was wondering that too. Hey, that Mecha Batman though.
yeah.
The Mecha Batman.
But yeah. Anything else? Rebirth was there hasn't been too much to talk
Yeah,
about.
but I mean the big mysteries going on with. I didn't read Wonder Woman. Apparently there was something big that happened with the Wonder Woman.
Eli?
Well, Eli got fucked on his copy.
Yeah, because they didn't fucking put Wonder Woman #1.
He has
sorry,
all
dude.
the issues, dude, and they didn't fucking put someone like fucked him over and like took the issue out of his pull list and put it somewhere else. Well, he clearly has a whole pull list, but he should be getting it.
Oh, you're mad about that? I didn't get I didn't get the 52nd issue of Justice League.
Oh, same here.
Yeah. I got my own gripes too. Trust me.
I have a night shift, right? So I'm able to go Wednesday morning, at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
An hour when they open, but at a reasonable hour. And I'm like, hey, is it on that day that I came out on a Wednesday?
Yeah,
like,
same
hey,
here.
what's this issue? I'm like, because I didn't think that they had it in my poll, and I'm like, oh, that one sold out. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then like, but you're lucky you have it in your poll. I was like, oh, damn straight I do.
Yeah. No, I noticed that. Where do you go to Fats?
Yeah.
Where? In,
Anaheim. Where I used to live, right there.
Oh,
We'll go to
okay.
that one, see?
No, we go to the one in
La Habra.
La Habra,
Okay.
and we've noticed that there's problems. They've actually acknowledged they've had some problems with
Yeah.
what they're doing. So they have the guy,
Eric.
He's working at the Anaheim store, but he works Friday and now Mondays at the store in La Habra.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there now, and he's actually keeping track of who's missing what and who's
Oh,
what.
okay.
So for instance, for his Wonder Woman, he pretty much is looking out for like, okay, this person didn't pick up their issues for Wonder Woman for 2 months now, right? Or a month,
Yeah.
you said?
Oh.
So they're gonna give it to Eli
Oh,
because he missed out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they're
gonna
looking
get
out.
to- but,
They're
like,
looking out for my Justice
yeah.
League.
Like, yeah, me
52
too. Like, I got fucked on a lot of things. I wanted to buy them online. I just went on eBay and like I did it. Like, got it before the prices go.
Well, yeah,
farther
because
up,
they
but
said,
it's
but even
bullshit.
Fat said we ordered double what we usually order
Yeah.
for this stuff, and they still sold out.
The problem is there's a lot of like
There's new
scalpers
people
out there.
coming, like you said,
Yeah.
new people.
And new
wanna come in.
people, but I think a legitimate like reason why we're losing a lot of our comics are people who are trying to turn for profit. Obviously,
Yeah.
like they're buying
It
double.
might be
Like
the
they,
owners.
so like my name is, or it could be owners, but I think it's people that are coming in like, oh, I'm John. I come to pick up my pull list, and they come back the next day.
Someone
or
over
another
here
store
you.
like, oh, can I pick up my friend Daniel's
Yeah.
whatever, and then so now you've got 2 copies of Batman
Yeah.
issue number 1, and you're like, hey. Now you just got to sit on it for like a week
Yeah.
or 2 after the next set gets released. Guess what? That shit's already bumped up. What? How much is the first issue now for Rebirth? Like $65. It's ridiculous. Like,
Damn.
yeah, like
Wait,
they go
what?
up in fucking price. Because they already
65
started.
bucks?
They already
Okay.
started the reissues. Now we're doing second printing.
Yeah,
of the
they're doing
comics.
second
For
printing.
So
which
they have
one?
red
Wonder
now.
Woman, what
The
you're talking
red,
about?
the red rebirth are second prints. Those are second like
Of everything.
of everything.
Batman, everything.
So like they're gonna be hard
65
to
bucks?
get.
I'm gonna sell my fucking Rebirth.
good
fuck
luck
that.
finding an original first one again. Though.
Yeah, you won't be able to find
I'm
that.
not a fucking collector.
No.
I read it.
Wait, we're talking about the Rebirth.
The
and
Rebirth.
the
The
number
Rebirth
one.
special, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So
65 bucks, man.
I'm gonna hold on to that.
I'm
shit.
holding on to
I'm
mine.
fucked up.
I don't do it for
I
a
had my
profit.
fun doing all that. I'm not doing it
Hey,
again.
and if maybe a certain writer or artist I worked on want to get it signed, graded, there you go.
Oh,
You need
tell
to
him-
get your green. You need to get your Green Arrow signed by Neil Adams. You
Oh, okay.
got yours signed by Neil Adams.
So,
Look, listen. Did you tell him? No, you haven't told him.
okay, so we went in there and
This is today, by the
we
way.
were talking about the Neil Adams, the variant cover they had for a while back, and
For Green Arrow.
well, for different ones, they had multiple ones. And Eric goes, oh, I got something for you. I'll be right back.
He's like,
He
"Oh,
goes
you
in
guys
the
like
back.
Neil Adams, right?" We're like, "Yeah, haven't we got anything signed?" But I was like, we always missed it. We got better jobs now. We can come in. He's okay. Hold on, I got something for you guys. We're like,
He
okay.
goes to the back, and he comes back, and he goes, here, you can have this.
What?
Okay, and it's the original sketch by Neil Adams of Arsenal and the Red Hood fighting each other.
Fighting each other.
What?
Original
Arsenal
fucking
and
sketch.
Red Hood fighting
Yes.
each other?
And he comes in, he goes, yeah, Neil Adams always gives these sketches when he
They
comes
get-
in, and I have a bunch of these, so you can have this one.
What the
I was
Yeah,
Fuck.
he just had it, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, you guys," and because we've already been to rep with him, like
Yeah.
we're always there every fucking Friday, and he fucking gave it, and I'm looking at you like, and I was like, "Hey, how much did he say?" He just gave it to me. I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" And his signatures on the bottom, everything, dude. It's like,
Damn.
that's fucking
A
awesome.
Neil Adams
That's why.
hand-drawn
That's
cover
what it's like. It's awesome.
of Jason Todd
Yeah.
and Roy Harper.
It's
And they're
pretty
fighting,
sick.
and they're like-
And they're fighting. They're like getting down. You're like, God damn. I was just like,
Okay, but going back to Rebirth.
Yeah.
What's
That's
up with the
Rebirth?
second fucking Clark Kent?
Oh, that's what makes us want to read it more. Though.
That's what
I
makes you
don't-
want to read it more.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What-
Wait,
what are
isn't
your
that what
thoughts?
I asked the other day? Remember?
Yeah,
How, like,
there's a second.
Have you
fucking-
No,
caught
but
up
they
on
just
Action Comics?
nonchalantly like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like okay.
Maybe that's,
Comic
still,
this.
that's what the mystery is right now, because they have the new, Superman right now is
New 52 Superman is dead. The Superman from right now is the original Superman that died during the whole
Yes.
death of Superman
Yes,
thing with
yes.
Doomsday.
and then technically Lex Luthor is a Superman. You know, but
Yeah.
it's
But
different.
okay, but so
But
this
the
Clark Kent.
I'm believing it's the new 50. The
But
new
he
52
said he
Superman.
didn't. He
It's
was like, but I'm not Superman. He was like,
yeah, but that's the thing. I think he has like he's probably made a weird memory thing, or he just came back human instead of coming back with the power that he
Okay,
It
time
could
out.
be possible.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not the only fucking one because I
No,
thought I was
yeah.
way out of the loop. I
No,
thought, oh, okay, this
yeah.
is common knowledge to every. No,
No, dude.
I was like,
And
what
me-
the fuck?
Also keeping me reading action
I was
comics,
like, what
dude.
the fuck
Jesus.
is going on?
okay, no, but the one thing that where I was like, Caesar's reaction was apparently Superman's secret identity had been revealed to the whole
when he,
world.
Yeah, yeah.
when he
No,
died,
yeah.
when
I
he,
have that
when he
whole
had
line.
died, Lois Lane, he gave this stuff to Lois Lane, and Lois Lane had wrote a paper saying
okay.
Superman and he's Clark Kent,
Yep.
and it,
Yeah, I have that whole thing if you want to.
That's from
Cool.
52, right? The last.
Yeah.
the last,
Yep.
The
I have that
last,
too.
DC,
the last few months
Yeah.
before they ended.
Oh, actually, I want to read that. I'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, who do you think is the one watching Superman through the whole, like through the TV screen?
Oh, what's the theory about
I
that?
thought it was Spectre for a split second.
No, I think it's
just because of how we
Ozymandias.
look. I think it's
Do you think
Ozymandias.
it's that one villain
Yeah, I think it's
from the
Ozymandias.
52? No.
No,
No,
it's
no.
everyone believing because they had the whole thing with the
Puzzle
Watchmen
Man or
in
whatever.
Yeah,
Rebirth.
because of what the Watchmen.
It's
And
Ozymandias.
everyone
That's
thinks it's
okay.
Ozymandias.
That's a,
It has to be.
then you're like, no, fuck that. I was like, wait, what?
No.
no. Eli said Ozymandias. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that from the
No, it
Watchmen.
makes more sense.
Yeah,
I kind of like that they're doing that because Ozymandias.
Yeah,
but we'll
so
see if it's him. We'll see.
Hopefully,
if it's
well, I mean, it's good at this point to kind of speculate.
Another
like,
thing I like
just-
about the whole DC being better than Marvel in the comics world is that they have lower price comics,
Mhm.
and well, it used to be well, what I said off before the podcast started was how I like, generally speaking, you can tell how good the storyline is if it's weekly, not that great. If it's bi-weekly, okay, a little better, and if it's monthly, it's like they use their top artists and writers to really put their
Yeah.
time into it. But what's cool now is that they made it cheaper and every 2 weeks for the Rebirth, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like I never gave any attention to the Batman. What's the weekly Batman issue?
Oh, they were doing. What the hell was it?
Oh God.
Eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
was
what
that it? I never read it.
That was a good storyline still, though. That was
Oh,
still a
okay.
good storyline.
Okay.
Oh, I heard also, by the way, that they're doing a Batman All Star.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
Batman,
that's
yeah.
on my pull
Yeah,
list.
that's coming out.
I
yeah.
gotta add that shit.
When
That's
is
what I
that?
forgot to do.
When is that?
That's
That's
actually
sometime, right?
that's
That
actually the
comes out
writers
August, I think.
from New 52 Batman.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Actually, I don't know about that.
That's
I
what?
heard about that right now.
the writers for All Star Batman are the ones that.
Oh,
did
Scott
the-
Snyder.
No,
Yeah,
is
it's
it? Yeah,
Scott Snyder.
yeah, it is Scott Snyder. Yeah,
Scott Snyder's the one with the 52.
yeah. So that's why
It's fucking
it's on my
sexy.
it's on my pull list.
When does that come out? Because I gotta make sure I get that on before that happens.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, because I have that over Detective Comics.
Oh yeah, another thing. So apparently, I thought like Batman and Superman, those issues were pretty big, but I guess the
No.
Action
No,
Comics
the
is
Action
a lot
Comics
bigger
and
right
Detective
now.
What they did
Comics.
was they reverted back to the original numbers count wise.
For Action Comics, yeah.
Yeah, so like before it used to be when they reached
900
52.
and
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd
it's
be
like
1,
982
2,
or
3,
something.
4,
They're
but then now
957 for Action
Yeah.
Comics.
It just so in like
930
a year
something
or
for
whatever
Detective
when they
Comics.
reach 1,000, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
That's why.
So that means, you guys know, when 1,000 issue comes out,
First Prince.
that's gonna
Get on
be
that.
fucking get on that shit.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
gonna be number
Well,
one
it's on my
a
pull
bitch
list.
to
Action,
get.
Action Comics
Action
is on
Comics,
my
Yeah,
list.
but make sure that you get the original print. not
I
some
have
variant
that
print
copy A. I have that on writing by the fuckers themselves at Fat Collectibles.
But
Yeah,
honestly,
but they are known to fuck up.
I know.
Yeah.
But reading,
Clearly.
yeah, you guys are fine.
Clearly.
2 weeks, I've been good.
Okay, but reading between Superman and Action Comics,
Mm-hmm.
Action Comics is a little more interesting
Mm-hmm.
so far from what I've read. Like Superman, it's weird. It has to do with his life, like
Yeah,
with his son.
yeah.
And
Well, they're kind of introducing it because they're gonna do a
I know
storyline.
he's gonna get his own.
Yeah, they're gonna do the
I
son
know.
storyline.
Yeah.
I think once we get past that, it'll probably be a
Maybe,
little bit
but like
better.
Action Comics is like right away. It's like Superman,
Something-
Doomsday, like
something like
I know. I was like, yeah.
when you come into New 52, when you come into a new Earth thinking you're safe, and the person you run into is Doomsday.
No, look at this. What happened, dude? To get the new the rebirth, and it's like Superman. Oh, well, here's my son. You know, we're gonna introduce my son, and then it's like
Action
this,
Comics.
The other Superman Action Comics is telling, all right, cool. Well, maybe I'll get a son. Sorry. Huh, Doomsday.
Seriously,
And
it's
then
like
Doomsday came out looking like a bang though with his fucking mask and
Oh,
suit.
yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? How do you know that's Doomsday? I couldn't even tell it was Doomsday.
Oh, dude, that's an homage to the original because that's
Yeah,
how
see,
Doomsday first showed
yeah,
up
see,
in
I didn't
Death
know.
of Superman.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Like straight up, he had like that whole green suit with like wires coming out of him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, before he had like the. Yeah.
Lolo, you have an issue.
I know. I remember. I have that issue. Well, no cover, by the way. When I organized all my comics I found really old comic issues. I have issue of
You have a
Death
single
of Superman.
issue of Nightfall and a single issue of Death of Superman.
but they're missing the covers. The covers were somehow ripped off. Yeah. So I just have the actual comic with no cover. It's fucking.
This is his
stupid.
comic. Page 1 is page 1. Start reading. You don't have to open
Maybe
the
that's why I was just like, "Fuck this!" I just want to give it to you. I don't.
You
remember.
probably put it up on your walls a poster or something.
No, I will. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
No,
It
you
goes
know,
back
he's
to my
saying the
Nintendo power.
covers.
Goes back to my Nintendo power.
You're
Probably you fucking
Yeah,
ripping that shit
no,
up.
you know right. I didn't rip yours, but I might as well have. If I want.
He would have killed
But
you.
I did have a Weapon X
yeah, he
issue
did have Weapon
comic I found for Wolverine.
Yeah, see, I'm running out of room because I live in an apartment, obviously, and I'm running out of room. I'm thinking of the other day I started trying to organize my comic lot.
Mhm.
Oh, I got halfway
can
through it. I was
imagine,
like,
dude.
I'm done.
Yeah, I had enough
Do you put
problem. I
in
was like,
boxes?
fuck.
Yeah, I have 4
Dude, I see
Short
short
stacks right there.
boxes
just
and one
standing.
long box, and that long box is like 75% full.
Okay, I have 5 long boxes full.
Fuck.
Yeah. Because I have one box full of old comics that my dad had, and then I
Ooh,
have
see.
That's
like
different.
2
That's
boxes
fucking
full of variant comics, and then the rest are just regular comics.
See, back in the day,
You see-
I used to be a fucking rarity whore. I was like, variant, and now I was like, I don't give you 2 shits about the variant. I just want the story. Just give me the cheapest one.
Wait. So what is better to have variant? Because Roger told me to get
It
the
depends
first
on
print.
it depends on who's writing, on who's drawing it.
No, not even that. It just depends on what type of comic book guy you are. If you're a rarity whore and you're like, fuck the best of the best, I'm gonna collect this, grade it, put it up on the wall, blah blah blah. Yeah, get
You're
the
just
one
a scrap metal.
1 out of 500 variant.
He's like, tell me more.
You're gonna pay a pretty penny for it, but
He's like, tell me more.
Yeah, no, seriously, I want to know
Yeah,
more.
so-
So for instance, for what's happening here,
But usually the first print is the one that sells for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
As age goes on.
That's the thing, though. It depends. So if
it's like you
If-
want something that's original, or do you want something that's a variant with short printed, and that you'll have an
yeah,
exclusive
so
to?
the way variants work is for every comic book store. So for every 25 comic books that you order at your store, you're gonna get this variant. It's worth $10. For every 50 books you order, you get this variant. It's worth a little, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Obviously, the fucking ones that are worth $400 or $500 are the 1 to 500 variant. So for
Okay.
every 500 that comic book store orders, you get that one variant, and that variant is usually a black and white sketch. Looks
okay.
legit as hell. It's badass. And
So not just any variant, because any variant's not going to be necessarily
no,
worth a lot.
exactly.
It had to be a unique variant. So
Yeah.
it'd be like, this variant is only 1 out of 500,
Yeah.
and you have number 4. So
Yeah. Or not only that, like for me personally, if the variants that I do collect is strictly on looks. If it looks badass, I don't
Yeah.
care if it's 1 out of 10. I'm gonna get that one.
yeah,
No,
well,
yeah.
there's a couple of variants for Batman I want to grab, but I'm like, I have the first issues, and I'm like, I don't know. Even for the detective comics,
Yeah.
I'm like,
And if you're like Eli, last I checked, the type of collector he is, he waits for the trade to come out and be like, I just care about the story. I don't care about the I don't care about anything else.
Well, yeah, because I started doing. Yeah, I only collect variants that I want. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay. What they did was like a couple months ago, they did 75 years of Joker. So they did
Oh,
Joker. Almost every single DC comic had a Joker variant comic. So I collected all those.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they had alternate movie titles. So like
Mhm.
Batman. Detective Comics did like the Matrix cover. They did all movie cover variant comics. So I
nice.
collected all those.
Yeah, it really just depends on what kind of collector you are.
Mhm.
Not me, I transformed. I used to be a rarity whore. Now I'm just like I want quantity over quality. So I don't care about the variant. I want the cheaper the comic, the better, because that means I saved $2-3 here. Now I could buy 1 extra comic. So I just care about keeping up with the
you're
story.
more like, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have issues 1 through 10. They're not
None
all
of them
first.
are variants. I
They're
used
not-
to be all variants.
Right, but now but you have the collection
Yeah.
as opposed to 1%. Well, I have the variant of number issue 1
Yeah.
and number 4, but he doesn't have the complete set.
Yeah.
As opposed to you
Yeah,
would
and
have
plus,
the full
like
set.
now, it affords you to have more in your pull list. Like before,
Yeah.
you have 8, and now you have 10 or 12 because you don't care. So
Now, when they issue them out on the store, you're still paying the same price for the variant and for the first.
It depends.
No, it depends.
Hence.
Because what happens to us then when we get
You-
variants?
Well, see, by default, okay,
We
I'll
get ones.
I'll give you a perfect example. By default, you were gonna pay more for your Green Arrow variant with Neil Adams because
Well, yeah, I
it's
bought
Neil
that
Adams.
separately, right?
No, even regardless whether you would have gotten the day of,
Yeah,
because
big artists
Neil Adams,
matter to
yeah.
Neil Adams, Jim Lee.
So that makes sense. So
Stuff like that.
what I would ideally look for is like artists that are specific. So I would grab like Neil Adams. That's what I would like. So okay.
yeah.
That's pretty much it. Pretty much hit the hour mark, right on the dot.
All right.
When your podcast lands right on the hour mark. So good, bro.
Yes.
Were you guys talking about the Fantastic Four earlier?
Oh, yeah,
that's
there was
right.
a rumor. Well, we haven't
No,
heard
they.
much
I
since.
think they confirmed
That
it. Like,
Fox is bartering with.
they already gave
they're
it to
talking.
them. They gave it to them so that they can
Wait.
do X-Men characters on the TV show.
Wait, it's official?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like I read.
Last I heard it was rumor.
Yeah,
rumor.
that's what I heard,
Yeah,
and it was a while off before
yeah.
they could like figure anything out.
I heard. This is what I read today. Obviously, I
believe
haven't vetted the source, but like I heard that they're gonna have Fantastic Four for the 2020 movie slates. So when Ant-Man and Wasp come out, they're gonna have the Fantastic Four.
I don't
They
believe it.
heard they trade. No, I believe it. From what I was reading, it made sense. Like they traded with Fox pretty much. Like, okay, give us Fantastic Four, and we'll give you this. I don't know exactly what they gave. I think it's pretty much X-Men still. They still have, but
Maybe they gave them access to more X-Men.
I think that's what it was from what I was reading, because I think that Fox is trying to do TV shows with X-Men now. So
Oh, that was a long time
yeah,
ago.
that's what they're talking about.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
that it's been in talks for a long time, but now they're officially
Hellfire
already-
Club. They're gonna make a series out of the Hellfire Club.
Exactly.
I remember now.
So
Yeah.
all that stuff, it seems from what we're hearing now, it's been finalized, and that they're giving them Fantastic Four back so that they can do all that.
Okay.
So like Marvel's like, that's fine. So we get Fantastic Four back, and you guys can have your TV shows,
Your
whatever.
shitty X-Men movies.
X-Men movies and Bryan Singer in that motherfucker too.
We don't want his.
Kill him and
Wait,
kill Zack
where's
Snyder.
Bryan Singer and all this? Dead, hopefully.
Dead, hopefully.
All right. Well, as usual, follow us on. Hey, did Daniel say we were on now Google Music or whatever?
Yes, Google Music. You can now
Nice.
check us out on Google Music.
Nice. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Music. We're on
You have no excuses
SoundCloud.
now, right?
We're on YouTube.
Are we on YouTube?
Yeah,
But well, it's just the audio version of. I mean, it's not. You know what I mean. There's
Oh.
no video, but
Wow.
technically.
Why video to that?
Well, actually, there's
We'll
a
put some-
camera right up
We'll
there.
put some pretty pictures.
You're a cam girl.
But yeah, check us out on all those. What else do we miss? We have a Facebook page. I think that's it.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, I did. mention
SoundCloud, Instagram. We don't have a Tumblr, huh?
Oh god.
We don't want Tumblerinas, do we? I mean,
that. What's the Chris Evans one?
the Chris Evans Jonathan Kent one.
yeah, there you go. The Chris Evans joke.
Because
Okay.
people can see that, guys.
Well,
They'll know what we're talking
how many
about.
inside jokes
know.
do we do? Come on.
It's true.
All right.
You're
Well,
not
yeah. Check
wrong.
us out,
See?
and there it is.
There it is. Nice
There
stuff.
it is.
Nice.
No, pues
There
ahí
it
está.
is. There it is.
Nope, pues.
There it is.